Margaret Lagunas is suing her former best friend, April Wilson, for the unpaid balance on a Ford Expedition. April claims Margaret did not live up to her part of the agreement, so she's not paying.
Order. All rise.
That's case number 374 on the calendar in the matter of Lagunas versus Wilson. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks have seated.
Ms. Lagunas, you sold a car to the defendant.
Yes, April Wilson.
And it is your claim that you failed to make all of the payments on the car?
Yes.
I didn't ask you a question.
Okay.
Miss Wilson, is the car in your name?
No.
In whose name is the car?
Maggie's.
Miss Lagunas?
Yes.
Where is the car located?
I have it parked at a friend's house.
Where is my question?
In Hammond,
Give me the address.
Michigan Avenue.
And what's the friend's name?
Amy.
Amy what?
Zacharias.
How long has the car been there?
Since September.
What is it doing there since September?
Hiding it.
I'm not speaking to you.
I'm hiding it.
You're not hiding it anymore. What's
Right.
Miss Zacharias' phone number?
8122.
Have you driven the car since September?
No.
Is it in her garage?
Yes.
How much do you still owe the plaintiff on the car?
About 5,000.
Good. Is this Amy? Amy Zacharias, this is Judge Judy Sheindlin. How are you? Miss Zacharias, I have Miss Wilson here who tells me that you have a car parked in your garage that belongs to her. Is that correct? And how long has the car been parked there? Well, I want you to get as sure as you can because I'm sending a marshal over to pick up that car. Do you understand? Very good. The car does not belong to Miss Wilson. It belongs to someone else. And the marshal or the sheriff is going to come over and pick it up. I am advising you that if you move the car, I will advise the sheriff in your county that you have stolen property in your garage. Do you understand? Very good. Thank you very much. That's all.
Wow.
Yeah. You're going to go, listen to me very carefully. You're going to go outside and call the police department in your county. I've spoken to Miss Zacharias. The car is, in fact, in her garage. I have told her that the sheriff will be coming over to pick up the car. Then you're going to get your car back. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. Now we're going to talk about the money that you've put into the car and how long you've had it. Do you understand?
Yes.
You can't keep property that you haven't paid for. Do I make myself clear?
I understand that, but
Perfect.
the agreement wasn't made like that.
I don't care what the agreement was. You just told me that you owe $5,000
I do,
on the
but there
car.
was also an agreement that stuff was going to get fixed. The title was to
And
be
we
put
did.
in my name.
Shut up. I don't want to hear. Don't interrupt her.
The title was to be put in my name with a lien on it. I could not do anything with this car. They consistently took the car from my house, followed me,
I don't want...
stalked
Listen
me.
to me. You interrupt her again, I'm throwing you out. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, if you complain and if you don't want this deal, then you return the car, but you don't get to keep the car
I
without
want
paying
the car.
for it.
I want the car.
That's too bad. At
We
this
had
point.
an agreement,
That's
and I
too...
put
Listen to me.
$4,000
Listen to me.
into it.
Listen to me. I'm going to get to the $4,000 you put into it, but you can't keep it for nothing. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. So she's going to get the car, and now I'm going to figure out how much of your $4,000 you're going to get back. Do you understand, Miss Lagunas?
Yes.
It's your car. The title is in your name.
And that's right.
I have just told Miss Zacharias she is to release the car to the sheriff. She understands that she's going to be in serious trouble if she doesn't do that.
Okay.
The car is yours. It hasn't been paid for. You are repossessing that car.
Yes.
Period. End of discussion. You got it?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, how many months did you have this car?
Since April. Maybe the end of March, April.
April, May, June, July, August, September, October, October and a half. 7.5 months.
Yes.
And you have put how much into the car? $4,000
Yes.
in payments?
And not on top of everything I had to fix, which they did not do.
Listen to me. Do you have a contract in writing that indicates what they're supposed to fix?
It was all verbal.
Fine. So you've put in $4,000 in payments for the car?
Yes.
She was supposed to give me a down payment of $3,000, pay $200 every 2 weeks.
I don't care.
Okay.
You're getting your car back.
That's right.
But she's getting something. I mean, she used this car for 7 months. She's not going to use it for 7 months without paying for it. If you rented a car for 7 months for $300 a month is $2,100. So you deduct, let's say she paid $4,000 into the car.
But she didn't pay $4,000. It was $3,850.
Fine. You have proof that you paid her $4,000?
No, it was a rough estimate.
Oh, well, rough estimate. She said $3,850?
That's correct.
Minus $2,100 equals 0, 5, 7, $1,750. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Perfect.
So I'm out of a car now?
Yes,
Out of
car
the
you
money?
didn't pay for.
Well, why did I pay $4,000 now to lose
Just
a
a
car?
second. You didn't pay $4,000
Well,
for a car.
$3,850.
What you paid for was the equivalent of a car rental for $300 of a very nice
I
Ford
paid for a
Expedition.
car.
You didn't pay for it.
I have my
Make
witness-
believe it's a bank. When was the last time you made a payment?
August.
That's too bad. You're out of
But
luck.
they didn't go
The
with
car
their
is
agreement.
The car is
They
just
didn't go with their agreement.
repossessed. Listen to me. The car is now repossessed. They are going to take the car because you can't drive around
I
with somebody's
paid up
property
to
yourself.
August.
To June.
Just a second. Look at me.
We had an agreement, and this is my truck that I would have paid for if they would have went with their agreement. I paid up
You
until
was not
August.
paying your payments.
They didn't
Miss
put the
Lagunas,
title in my
Miss
name.
Lagunas, listen to me.
Yes.
She secreted the car,
I know.
and she did not pay for it for 3 months. You are repossessing the car. She doesn't like it. It's tough. She didn't make the payments. She hid the car so that you couldn't repossess it.
They were following me, putting my kids in danger, harassing
No, Your
my
Honor, I have the
job.
911
Miss
tape.
Lagunas, I don't want to hear you unless I ask you a question. Do
Okay.
you understand?
Yes.
Otherwise, you're out of here without your truck, period. Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you again. Maybe if you dressed and covered your shoulders when you came to court, you would understand what court decorum is. Otherwise, be quiet unless I speak to you.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm treating it as if you rented her car. A bank would not do that for you.
bank?
Listen to me.
But-
Just be quiet.
And later today,
You have no relation to this case whatsoever. Zero. You have nothing to do with this case. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
Perfect.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Margaret Lagunas claims former friend April Wilson owes for an SUV that she is currently hiding from her. April is countersuing for harassment, claiming Margaret endangered the lives of her and her children.
Now, go buy yourself a new car. You're getting
$1,700.
$1,000. You're getting $1,000.
$38.50 into it,
Listen.
plus the stuff I fixed.
Miss Wilson, I'm not going to bother with you anymore. You used her property, and you're getting back $1,750. I'm treating it as if you rented her car. A bank would not do that for you. Do you understand that? Listen to me. A bank would not do that for you.
But-
Just be quiet. You didn't pay for it. It's being repossessed. You're getting back $1,750. Use it as a down payment for another car. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I put all this money into the car to now not have a car.
This is just the kind of person she is. She's done it to many other people.
And I get $1,750. Who's going to buy a car for $1,750?
It's been a game since we gave it to her.
Zanita Arnold and her husband, Lawrence Hill, are suing Zanita's ex-husband, Bruce Arnold, for filing false charges of abuse with Child Protective Services.
All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 105 on the calendar in the matter of Arnold Hill versus Arnold. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Miss Arnold, this is your former husband,
Yes,
and this is your
new husband.
new husband. And according to your complaint, your former husband made allegations about you and your husband with regard to your treatment of your two children. You have two children with him?
Yes,
As a result of that, the two of you were briefly arrested and lost custody of the children for a very brief period of time. The children are back with you now.
yes.
Mr. Arnold said he has every right to have been concerned about his children. He acknowledges he made the report that resulted in your arrest, and he is going to explain to me why. Now, when were you divorced, Miss Arnold?
August 16, 2004.
And how many children do you have, Mr. Arnold?
2, a boy
Only
and a girl.
2 children?
Yes, by her.
What are their dates of birth?
March 19th for my son, 99, and my daughter, September 4th, 1995.
And did you and your former wife live together until 2004?
No.
When did you separate?
2002 or probably 1.
When did you separate?
2000.
Your former wife has had physical custody of the children since 2000. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Since one of the children was a year old, right? And one of the children was 5 years old.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Explain it to me.
My son was at least about 3 years old when we was living together.
Is that right?
Bruce has been on and on in the household. So it was basically 1 month he'll be in the household, the next month he will not.
That's a lot.
With duration of that, his appearance was basically an in-and-out father. I assumed full custody of my kids, sole custody, when I got the divorce, August 16, 2004.
Okay. Now I got it. Now, sir, you made a report to Child Protective Services or to the police?
To the police.
When?
December 2006. I believe it was around the 15th or 16th.
Prior to December 2016, that's the date of your divorce, have you been regularly paying child support?
Yes, off and on.
Yes, off and on is not regularly paying child support. Since August 16th, have you been regularly paying child support?
I pay child support twice. I pay from the public aid and for our divorce.
I'm asking you, since August 16th, 2004, when the divorce granted you primary physical custody, have you been regularly paying support?
Yes.
Well, you said yes, and then 2 seconds ago you said yes off and on. Which one is it?
Because when I wasn't working, I was still giving her $50 a week, and they wasn't taking out my check.
Is that right?
No. Basically, since like all of this happened December 16th, I'll say a minimum of about 2 payments that he has given me. This current year, up to date, I would say at the most, maybe a month worth of payments. And that's $50 every other month, if that.
Okay. Now, sir, you reported an incident to the police in December of 2006. You want to tell me what precipitated that report?
Yes, my children was home with my mother, their grandmother, and my daughter and her was talking. And my daughter came out and told her everything that was going on about the past and the present. And so my mother got on the phone, called me crying. She was saying that my kids are being abused.
Don't tell me what your mother said to you. I assume that there was a time that you came home and spoke to your children.
I was getting to that point, man.
I know, but you can't tell me what your mother said to you, sir, because that's hearsay.
I understand.
You can, however, tell me what your children... Listen to me. You're not paying attention, Mr. Arnold. You cannot tell me what your mother said to you. There is an exception with regard to what children say to their parents in family court proceedings, so I'm accepting what the children said to you. And I assume that as a result of the conversation with your mother, you had a conversation with your children.
Yes, ma'am.
When?
As soon as I got off the phone with her, I came home and I talked to my children. And that's when they informed me about the things that was going on.
Well, I would like you to tell me specifically what they informed you and which child informed you of
my
what.
My daughter informed me that one occasion that Zanita had sat on top of her back while Lawrence whooped her. Then my son told me...
Okay, now, that's what your daughter said to you.
Yes, ma'am.
That her stepfather had hit her with what?
A belt.
Did she tell you when?
It was like a month prior to that date.
Are you making this up as you're going? Are you sure that she said to you it was a month before?
Yes, I am, ma'am.
Okay. And is that all your daughter told you?
No.
What else did she tell you?
She told me that she got a whooping because she didn't like what her mother had picked out for her for school, and she got in trouble for that.
Is that at the same occasion that you're talking to me about?
No, ma'am.
That was on a different occasion?
Yes.
And when did she say that happened?
Well, she didn't really say when that one happened. And then my son told me that he gets whoopings for no reason. I was like, they're not just whooping you for no reason. So he told me about when they used to stay in Texas, that he showed me a burnt mark that he said Lawrence had burnt him with an iron. I said, did he do it on purpose or on accident? He said, no, Daddy, he did it on purpose.
When were you living in Texas? What year?
2003, 2004.
So that's 2003, 2004. So that your son was either 4 or 5 years old when you were in Texas. Okay. And what else did your son tell you?
He told me, well, actually, she told me one time that he have whooped him and hit him in his private part, and it swole up so bad that she claimed they took him to the hospital.
And your former wife told you that?
Yeah, he's a witness to that.
Okay. So as a result of that, those are the reasons that you called the police?
It was all building up, the stuff that they tell me that I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
Yes,
that's the reason why you called the police. Mr. Hill, I have a couple of questions for you, sir. And I would prefer answers from you so that I don't necessarily have to interview the children, who I understand are here, because I assume that they've already been examined and spoken to. So I would prefer that I get the legitimate answers from you. Mr. Hill, have you ever hit either of your stepchildren?
I have disciplined them with a belt in previous instances, yes.
How often?
Very infrequently.
More than 5 times since you've been their stepfather, or less than 5 times?
Less than 5 times.
More than twice or less than twice?
More than twice, less than 5.
And have you done that with the approval of Miss Arnold?
Yes.
Has Miss Arnold ever disciplined the children with a belt?
Yes.
These are hard questions.
That's right. I'm sorry, man.
You got a lot of nerves.
Miss Arnold, don't speak to him.
I'm sorry.
Don't speak to him. How often have you witnessed Miss Arnold disciplining her children with a belt?
I would say over the past 4 years, less than 5, more than twice.
Both the boy and the girl?
Yes. My daughter really doesn't get whoopings at all. We don't have
You
that
mean your
many.
stepdaughter?
Yes.
How old was your stepson when you started to discipline him with a belt?
He was 4, almost 5 years old.
And do you remember the reason that you disciplined him with a belt?
No, not offhand. It was so long ago.
Well, try to tell me what infractions were that you remember that caused either the boy or the girl to be disciplined with a belt.
From what I remember is for lying.
Who was lying?
My son was lying.
What did he say?
I believe it had something to do with school. We hold school very important, so...
Do you remember, Miss Arnold?
Actually, this particular incident when he's talking about, it was dealing with school. We had a conversation with Michael regarding his grades and also just the upkeep of his schoolwork. We talked with him on numerous occasions about it. Our whoopings or our discipline methods are not what Bruce tends them out to be. When we do, at that point, when he did whoop him, it's more or less, we'll tell him to hold out his hand and whoop him 1 or 2 times at that point.
That's not true.
Okay.
Are you in the household?
Shh. Hey! Listen to me. Your lawsuit alleges that Mr. Arnold had no right to notify the police or Child Protective Services about what he perceived to be abuse and or neglect of his children. Mm-hmm. You believe that. And I'm telling you that he had every right to notify Child Protective Services and notify the police who reported you to Child Protective Services in order to ascertain whether or not you were using excessive corporal punishment. He had not only the right, but he had the obligation to do that. You two look like very nice people. There is a difference between corporal punishment and excessive corporal punishment. I acknowledge that. That's a term of law because the law in this country doesn't say, although perhaps it should, that you cannot corporally punish your children by using a belt or a hanger or anything else. The law says that you cannot excessively punish your children. But as a parent, if my children came to me and said that their step-parent was whipping them with a belt, a 4-year-old,
Ma'am, it wasn't
I'm
a belt.
speaking.
It was an iron.
It was an iron.
He's stating
That's what he's stating.
Listen to
That's
me.
why we got arrested.
Listen
because
to me.
He said that we whooped
We
him
have
with a
the-
metal iron
the
and we
actual
burnt the
statements.
child.
Never said
That
what.
was a lie.
No,
we
no,
have a
listen to me.
statement.
Listen to me
prove
very.
that.
Listen to me. Hey,
Come on.
you're not paying attention to what I'm saying to you.
Yes, we are, yeah.
I understand what you're
That's
saying,
their
but that's not the allegation. The allegation is a
problem.
metal iron.
Listen to me. If your children were telling their father that they felt as if they were being disciplined harshly by you and their stepfather, and it is apparent to me that you do discipline them harshly. Now, whether in the jurisdiction that you live, that's permissible or not, that's not up to me to say. I assume that the courts permitted you to have your children
you
back.
ask Mr. Arnold, has he whooped his children either?
Listen to
Over
me.
The past
And you
number
know
of
you
years?
have whooped those kids. You
Why
don't
should
need
you
to be.
advise
Why?
me?
Why? Because you whooped them
Still
too.
ain't got yours for
One.
doing that to my son.
sir.
I ain't did nothing to your son.
I would like for you to talk to the
me.
kids.
Just a second.
Because that's
Talk-
what
talk-
it's,
talk
that's
to
what
the
it's
judge.
about.
Talk
He
to the
made
judge.
those kids lie.
Talk to the judge.
No, just a second.
I take care of
Yeah.
Hey!
Sir.
If you say
are
one
you
more
listening?
word, leave
Talk
it
to
down
the
there.
judge.
If you say one more word, I'm not even going to continue with the case. Do you understand, Miss Arnold?
Yes.
You have a temper problem. And my sense is if you have a temper problem, here with me in a court situation where I am in authority and in control of my space, my sense is that if you have a temper problem, you can lose it with a 5-year-old. Do you get it? Now, try to keep your mouth shut. Do you understand until I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you get it?
Hey,
Stop it.
Hey.
Do you get it?
Yes.
Now, I said to you, I'm going to ask you questions so that I won't have to interview the children if I don't have to, because the children have already been interviewed, I guarantee, by many professionals with the Child Protective Services and the police department. Put your hand down. I didn't have to interview the children because you told me, the two of you told me, that you whip your children with belts. Now,
We no longer do that because we have actually had intervention prior before him making allegations.
Listen to me.
Yes,
listen to me. Whether or not you've had intervention,
We
and
had counseling.
You had counseling.
And it was proven
Yes,
that
it was
we
proven that these charges
they
came
were
after
allegations.
the
I
fact.
dropped the charges.
Just
He
a
should be in
second.
jail.
Hey,
No.
I'm saying
You
the
should be
same
in jail
thing
for
to
not
you
paying
as I
child
said to
support. I
them.
raised your kids.
How come she get money from me every other week?
Your case is
Every other week
dismissed.
don't pay for it.
Goodbye.
Wait here.
I
Wait here.
appreciate it. Because he doesn't want me with my current husband. That's what it's about.
My wife, she still wants to get back with me.
Asking me to just be back with him and leave my current husband.
I'm not having it. I told her, maybe it's a future for us if you get a divorce.
Well, as far as it is, we're going to continue on living our life, being happy, and move forward.
But she was trying to get her cake and eat it too. It's not going to happen like this.
All parties in the matter of Gabori versus Davenport. Step forward, please.
25-year-old Jesse Gabori is suing 23-year-old musician Cameron Davenport for the return of his fee to perform at her party. Jesse claims Cameron's music offended her guests.
Mr. Borey, you hired Mr. Davenport as a DJ to play at a party that you were having. What kind of party was it?
I had a cousin who was moving to Portland, Oregon from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. We have a pretty large family in Coeur d'Alene, all very close-knit.
So it was a family party?
Yes, that's correct.
Had you ever heard of Mr. Davenport play before?
No, ma'am.
How did you find him?
I was at a coffee shop. I found a flyer that said, Cameron Bamron, original music and DJ services. It showed a picture of a guy with a ukulele on the front.
Okay, so that's how you found him.
That's correct.
Good. And you hired him to play at a party. You paid him in advance $500?
Yes, ma'am.
And he came to the party. He played for a couple of minutes. He was told to leave.
That's correct.
Because you didn't like his music, and you want your money back.
That's correct.
Mr. Davenport says he came, he played his music, he was totally prepared to comply with the terms of your contract. You told him to leave, he's not giving you any money back. What date did you see his flyer, and on what date did you call him?
July 10th is the date that I was preparing all of the arrangements for the party.
And what day was the party?
The 13th of July.
So you only had 3 days to get somebody?
That's correct.
So you called Mr. Davenport from the flyer. And what did you say to him, and what did he say to you?
I asked if he would be available to do a 5-hour set on the 13th. The party started around 7 p.m. He said that he was available. I asked what type of original music he played. He said experimental. In my experience, experimental doesn't generally mean offensive or explicit.
Don't tell me what your experience is, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm asking you what you said to him and what he said to you.
He asked me if any children would be present, and I said no, older people, adults.
Okay.
And that was pretty much the end of the conversation. I told him where to show up and when. I was in a huge hurry, so I just kind of pushed forward
Terrific.
with it.
So he came, and?
On the day of the party, he arrived, had his sound equipment set up. Everything seemed to be going well. That was the first time I had actually spoken with him in person. He seemed like a, nice guy. Got up on stage, and it was the first song that he sang that really set everyone off. I have a pretty conservative family. It was a large party. I had a lot of grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles,
So it was more experimental than you were used to?
The first lyric of the first song was what really set it off.
Okay. It was not what you expected?
That's correct.
Okay, so what did you do?
I immediately, after about halfway through the first song, I was bombarded with my family members coming up angrily. My friends, family, asking me if it was a joke.
Okay, fine. So?
I retreated to the back of the theater. I informed one of my cousins that he needed to ask Cameron to leave.
Oh, well, and that's what they did. They asked him to leave.
That's
right.
Correct.
So why do you think you're entitled to any money back?
Because he misrepresented himself
No,
on the
he didn't
telephone
at all.
to me.
No, he did not at all.
Never at any time did he mention that his lyrics were explicit or offensive in any manner.
Did you ask? You said, what kind of music do you play? According to you, I listened very carefully, you say original music experimental. According to you, you said, in my opinion, experimental meant, I said, I'm not interested in your opinion. What you do when you hire somebody is you enter into a contract. And especially if the end of one song and you tell somebody to go tell him to leave, instead of saying to him, listen, this is not the kind of music that we want played here. Could you please play something else? And give him the option, just a second, give him the option of saying to you, this is the only kind of music I have. This is the only kind of music I do. But according to you, I listened very carefully. You said you told one of your cousins to go out and tell him to leave, which he did. You go get your money back.
Well, he successfully, in under 5 minutes, offended pretty much everyone at the party.
You should have planned better. You should have planned better. You know, what is offensive to some people is not offensive to others. I think that he was very honest with you when you called him, and he said, are there going to be any children at the party? I would say, there aren't going to be children, but there are a lot of older people who have the ears of a child, and if there's going to be any music there that's going to be offensive, we don't want that kind of music.
A few curse words every now and again is a little less offensive than the lyrics that this man used in front of these people.
That is your problem. He did not breach your contract. He showed up, he played his experimental music, which is what he told you he was going to play, and he couldn't book another gig after you fired him. So you have to be more careful.
Your Honor?
What?
I do have a copy of my lyrics to just one of my songs that I do.
I don't do experimental lyrics.
All right.
If it's not Sinatra or Feinstein, I don't do it. Got it?
Okay.
But I think that you were very honest with her. You said, I do original experimental music, and are there going to be any children there? Did you get paid, sir?
Yes.
You worked for 20 minutes?
Well, I played for about 20 minutes. You know, it takes a good half hour to set up and break everything down.
So by the hour, you made more than you ever made before. Is that right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I am a little upset. I think I learned a valuable lesson today.
I'm Cameron Bamron. I won.
Won't be hiring too many ukulele players again.
I always win. If I don't, if I lose, I will write a song.
I made some assumptions based on the information that I was provided by the flyer.
I plan on writing a song about this.
I left after 5 minutes just because I was so offended. Could not believe what was going on.
I will let her know exactly what I think about all this in my song.
I had some grandmothers crying.
Everyone was offended.
I think it's only offensive to the weak-minded.
It is. It's definitely for a different mindset and people that are open-minded.
I was kind of off at her for about a week because I thought she knew what was going on.
I got a song about burritos and tacos.
Could not believe it. Could not believe it.
All the stupid people out there probably won't look into my music.
It was a little more than I could handle, so I retreated to a little safe spot until I was sure he was gone.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Ross versus Ross, step forward.
Shauna Ross is suing her cousin, 21-year-old Pauline Ross, for the value of a state-issued check. Shauna claims Pauline kept money that was intended for her.
Miss Ross, the defendant is your cousin. According to what I've read in your complaint, she had had some trouble with Child Protective Services. And there came a time that you agreed to watch her children in exchange for a state check for watching her children.
Yes.
You watched the children. She got the state checks, 2 of them. According to you,
Yes.
She cashed them both and did not give you any money. Miss Ross says that you only watched the children a little bit. Her boyfriend watched them more than you did. So she kept the money, and she's got some countersuit about you calling Child Protective Services and making some false allegations about her after all this went down. What's your first name?
Pauline.
Pauline, how many children do you have?
3.
You're expecting another one?
Yes.
How old are you?
21.
You have enough children, Pauline.
Yes.
Did anybody ever tell you that?
Yes.
Who else told you that?
Everybody.
So add my voice to the rest of the pack. You have enough children, there are other things to do in your spare time. How old are your children?
They're 1.
You have to think about this?
No, 1, 2, and 3.
And who's the father of your 1-year-old?
Dion.
And who's the father of your 2-year-old?
I don't know.
And who's the father of your 3-year-old?
Dion.
And who's the father of this one that you're going to have now?
His name is Nick.
And how long have you been with Nick?
9 months.
Shh.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You people don't think that I understand that this is just another scam on the state. You're wrong. I got it. You know what I'm doing with this case? I'm sending a tape of it to the state of Michigan so they can come after you and take the money out of your welfare money.
Closed captioning sponsored by...
Fasten your seatbelts. Monster Jam comes crashing into Halifax June 6th and 7th, and you can win the ultimate Monster Jam fan pack to share with 3 friends. Send your entry to win at globaltv.com for your chance to score big with Monster Jam. Brought to you by Global Maritimes and Live Nation.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Shauna Ross says her cousin, Pauline Ross, kept a state-issued check that was intended for her. Pauline is countersuing, claiming Shauna made false allegations to Child Protective Services.
Now, when your cousin was watching your children, who was your boyfriend then? Dion or Nick?
Nick.
When did your cousin watch your children?
She started April the 2nd when I started my job.
What kind of job did you have?
Waitressing.
Now, who filed the papers for your cousin to get the state check?
We both did.
And when you filed the papers, you said you were working, correct?
Right.
And you were receiving welfare?
Yes.
So they said, well, maybe they can cut some of this welfare money by giving you money to pay a babysitter to get you back in the job force, which will hopefully keep you out of the baby-producing business. How much did you receive in checks? Because the checks came to you, right?
Right.
How much was the first check?
The first one was $768.
And what did you do with that check?
I moved into my house.
So you used the money for yourself?
Right.
And how much was the second check?
$384.
And that was a babysitting check?
Yes, it was.
Well, Miss Ross, you don't get paid for babysitting for your own children.
No.
And Nick doesn't get paid for babysitting for your children because he hadn't filled out the papers.
Right.
So who do you think was entitled to that money?
Her, but not her, because she wasn't watching the kids like she was supposed to. And then April 12th, I got laid off. They cut my hours due to complications of my pregnancy.
Yeah. So how many hours did you in fact work?
20 hours per week.
How many weeks did you work?
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
No, 3 weeks full time. And then they took me off.
So were you telling me, what state do you come from?
Michigan.
The state of Michigan gave you $1,152 for 3 weeks worth of babysitting?
No, no.
Well, you got the 2 checks just for babysitting.
Right, ma'am, she was calling in hours that she wasn't watching the kids.
Just a second. I understand that, but you have to sign off on it. Miss Ross, Pauline, you have to sign off on it. This is yet just another scam. If you don't think that I understand that this was just another scam, I do.
I have the paper saying that I called and said my hours were reduced. It's right here from the caseworker.
Somebody had to sign off before you got the check because the forms, she fills out the hours, but you have to sign off on it that she did in fact work those hours. Isn't that the way it works in Michigan?
Yes.
Of course. Works that way all over, right? Otherwise, any babysitter could file and say, I worked 20 hours this week, unless the other person for whom she is allegedly working signs off on it. So if you people don't think that I understand that this is just another scam on the state, you're wrong. I got it. You worked 3 weeks and got checks for $1,152. You know what I'm doing with this case? I'm sending a tape of it to the state of Michigan so they can come after you and take the money out of your welfare money.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
This was a good scam that the two of you cousins cooked up together.
No.
Because there is no way that I believe.
I didn't say I got paid for 3 weeks. I was working full time for 3 weeks. I called the caseworker. Here's the paper, the document showing when I called to say that my hours were reduced to 20 hours per week. So therefore, she supposed to have cut down the maximum hours which she supposed to call in.
Miss Ross, you are not entitled to keep that check.
I know that.
Just a second. So why did you keep it?
Because she wasn't babysitting the whole time.
You don't get it. Why don't you just send the money back to them? You don't move into your apartment with it, madam. You don't take care of your expenses with it. That's not what the money is for. That's what welfare is for. That's what Dion is for.
Well, Dion don't help.
Well, that's your problem. That's not Michigan's problem. You can't keep this money. You get welfare. The fact that you don't like how much you get doesn't mean that you can scam the state out of another $1,100.
I didn't scam. I paid the person that was watching the kids.
Yeah, show me.
Me and Nicholas.
Show me. I want to see the person who was watching the kids.
Me and Nicholas spent the money together for it, and I paid Lakeisha.
Listen to me. Lakeisha wasn't authorized by the state to watch your children. Neither was Nick. And you don't get paid for watching your own children. Madam, if you think that I'm going to give you $1,152, you are out of your mind. What the state should do is, and I'm going to send them a copy of the tape, is go against her welfare checks to redeem $1,152. And then let them decide where the $1,152 is going to go. That's what the state of Michigan ought to do. So they have to get the money back, and then they're going to give it to you. Thank you very much. That's all. Goodbye.
Parties are excused.
Oh, excuse me. Counterclaim?
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Why didn't you have a job?
He told me not to work.
No way did he tell you not to work.
He had me staying home taking care of his 2 kids, cleaning his house, cooking him dinner. This was not your normal relationship.
Next Judge Judy.
She came to me crying, and that she my cousin, I did her a favor. She used me, that's all.
18-year-old Jessica Grossheim is suing her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, 18-year-old Amber Snyder, for vandalizing her car and for assaulting her during a party.
All rise. Yeah, this is case number 21 on the calendar, the matter of Grossheim versus Snyder.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks have a seat.
Where's the boyfriend? He's your boyfriend. You dated him for a while.
Yeah.
And now the two of you are fighting with each other.
Yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous? That is so ridiculous. Stand up. How are you related to this case?
She's my daughter.
And this is her boyfriend. Do you like him?
Love him.
Do you love him?
Love him.
Let me see if I love him.
He's a great kid.
Your first name is?
Kevin.
How old are you, Kevin?
I'm 18.
What do you do?
I work at Starbucks. I'm a barista.
When did you graduate from high school?
07.
And how long have you worked at Starbucks?
About 4, maybe 5 weeks.
What did you do before that?
Before that, I was a full-time student at Pierce College.
And what happened?
I needed money and I needed to work, so I cut my time at school so I could work and
And
pay
you go
bills.
to school too?
Mm-hmm.
How many credits are you taking?
Right now, 12.
And you're working at Starbucks to make money?
Yes.
So far, I'm loving him. Who do you live with?
My dad.
Get along okay?
Yeah.
Good. Anybody else live with you?
No.
Just the two of you?
Yeah, I left my mom's house when I was about 13.
And you've been with your dad for the last 5 years?
Yeah.
What college do you go to?
Pierce College.
Do okay?
Yeah, pretty good.
And this is your girlfriend?
Yes.
There came a time when you broke up and you were dating Miss Snyder?
I saw Jessica for about 3 years, from 9th grade through 11th. After that, we broke up for about, I would say maybe a year. In that time, I was best friends with Amber. And then we dated for about, I'd say maybe a week to 2 weeks.
When you say dated, does that mean from being friends you were intimate for about a week?
We were intimate for a little longer than that, but the actual name, girlfriend, boyfriend.
Was a week?
Probably, I think it was about a week.
Nothing to build a lifetime on?
No.
And then you went back to your girlfriend?
Yeah, a few months after.
Could do worse? Sit down. It is your claim that Miss Snyder has twice vandalized your car and assaulted you.
Yes.
Miss Snyder says that she did not vandalize your car and that she really doesn't remember the assault because she was too drunk, if I'm reading your answer correctly.
I don't remember who started the fight, but I remember the...
You remember being in a fight, but you don't remember how it started.
The tussling on the ground.
Okay. Why don't you tell me when your car was vandalized?
It happened twice. And the first time, I believe it happened August 24th or August 25th, one of those.
Of 07?
Yes. I was at my friend Alexis's house, who's here with me right now, and she had some people over. Kevin came, and Amber and I believe Cameron, which is her other witness, dropped Kevin off. And
to drop him off?
Yes. They weren't invited. Amber later came back and picked up Kevin, and in the morning when I woke up, my car was keyed. everybody at that house, like, I was really good friends with for years. Then,
So you think it was the defendant?
Yes, and everybody, I know they're not here with me right now, but people agree.
I'm a witness.
Is that the only evidence that you have that Miss Snyder keyed your car?
For the keying, yes.
So you understand that that's not sufficient evidence?
Yes.
Okay, so that incident that happened on the 24th or the 25th of August is dismissed. What's next?
Okay, so even prior to that, she was...
Oh, prior.
Okay, well, after that also, she was calling Kevin, threatening to, my car, to me up if I was around. She wouldn't come anywhere if I was there, and she was complaining that I was stealing all of her friends from her when it was really her who was keeping herself from coming. She actually have MySpace messages that she posted. Would you like to read them? Okay.
I would like to know what this has to do with the second act of vandalism.
Well, she was telling me to watch my back. She was calling me a stupid. She wrote, "I won't hesitate to smash your ugly face in. You seriously hope you should never see me." She admitted that this was about me, said that the next time she sees me, she will make a move. She's not scared of anyone, and everybody knows that she can beat my... We could ask anyone.
Just a second. Could we get to the second act of vandalism on your car?
Yes, this all ties into it, because this is what she wrote on MySpace, and then it happened. She was calling Kevin constantly, saying, "Why is that car at your house? What is she doing over there?" Like, that happened multiple times.
I understand that she's using some profanity. You don't have to keep using it.
Sorry. So she basically had the motive and the opportunity to mess with my things.
Okay. So that's also, you understand, is not evidence.
Yeah.
Now let's get to the assault.
Well, I guess it ties into what I was telling you before. She actually got in a physical fight with her, Alexis, because she was defending me in this message. And after that, I saw her at multiple parties. Alex, which will probably deny it, came over to me telling me to leave the parties because Amber's threatening to kick my, butt or whatever.
Those aren't my exact words.
No, well, those aren't her exact words, but she was telling me to leave because of Amber. It happened multiple times. I stayed away from her. One party, a whole bunch of her friends were holding her back. She threatened to spit on me.
Would you tell me what happened with regard to the assault, please?
Okay, so the final actual assault that happened.
Date?
March 7th. Yeah, March 7th. One of our friends were having a party, and we were both there, and it was really big. There were lots of rooms, lots of people there. Well, at one point in the night, she walked by me and, pushed me, with her shoulder, and I told her not to push me. She got in my face, said she could push me if she wants to. There was some, profanity in there. One of my guy friends broke us up. Well, not really broke us up. He just stood to make sure nothing happens. Well, closer to the end of the night, she had ran over to Kevin and was telling him, you better take, your whatever girlfriend outside. I'm gonna beat her face in, or whatever she was saying. And then Kevin, literally dragged me outside. She ran out there with a bottle of something in her hand. She was in my face. We were both yelling at each other. I told her to put the bottle down, because in the past, she has actually smashed bottles over people's heads.
And present.
Yes, and present. And it's ironic because she actually did it to her boyfriend that she has now, to his ex-girlfriend a few weeks ago. And it's the truth.
Just tell me what happened to you.
So she was yelling at me. She put the bottle down. I went to turn around. She punched me in the face. Where we ended up on the floor punching, hitting, kicking each other.
Just a second. Well, that's a fight.
Yes.
But she put her hands on you first.
Yes. She punched me when I turned around.
Were you injured?
I had bruises and I had some scratches on my face.
Yeah.
And I have a chiropractor bill also.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
Ms. Snyder, you understand that you have lots of questions to answer for me.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Your Honor, could I say something as well?
About?
About all the assaults that were going on?
I'm only here about one assault.
Well, it was one physical assault, but there was many threats.
I'm not interested in the threats. I'm here about this assault.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't think it was intentional. I think
of course it was intentional. I don't care. Listen to me. I don't care about what the operation of your mind is. All you tell me is what you saw and what you heard.
Sign says her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, Amber Snyder, vandalized her car and assaulted her during a party. Amber denies the vandalism and claims Jessica started the fight.
What I want to know, Ms. Snyder, is Why? And it's clear to me, you're angry with her.
Very.
Why?
Because just animosity built up from, me and her became friends after all the vandalizing happened. And we became friends for about, like, I'd say December to, like, March. And, I mean, we hung out, we called each other. Like, it wasn't just, oh, it's okay to hang out. We actually called each other on our own cell phones. And then, like, she was
and this
like...
was after...
This was after the vandalizing happened.
This is after...
I have proof that we weren't friends. Right here.
Hey, she didn't interrupt you. You're not to interrupt her. Do we understand each other? This was after you and Kevin were no longer seeing each other. So this is in March.
This started in December, and then it ended in March. Then we made an agreement where, like, she was like, okay, well, I'd rather have your friendship over, like, Kevin. And I was like, okay. And then
so she said to you, I prefer having a friendship with you and not being with Kevin.
Yeah.
And then she went back to Kevin.
Yeah, and then it was
just a second. And that's why you're angry.
Yeah, because I like being friends with her. And then it was, like, downhill.
What's your first name, Amber?
Yeah.
Amber, listen to me very carefully, sweetheart. Men are never worth fighting over.
So I've heard from a lot of people now.
Get one, find another. Do you understand? Never worth two women fighting over. It's demeaning. Second, I think that as much as he's a very nice guy, the fact that he was intimate with this young lady for a week shows just a little bit of a flaw in his character. A little bit of a flaw, because she clearly thought that she was a more important person in his, put your hand down, more important person in his life than he did. Women tend to hold on to that feeling. You understand that?
I've been with my husband since I was 16, so...
So you get it?
I get it.
You get it.
But I would never fight over a man.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous. Fight the man. Beat him up.
But, Your Honor, she wasn't fighting over him. She was.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
You want to get married? Never understand why they go after the new girlfriend. They ought to go after the husband. That's what they should go after. What are they going after the new girlfriend for? Listen, I don't know whether you vandalized her car. Only you know whether you vandalized her car. If you did it, whether you did it alone or with your friends, only you know that. Unfortunately, in a courtroom setting, we have proof, and that doesn't rise to the level of proof. So now you're going to tell me that you don't remember how this fight got started on March 7th.
I do remember all the yelling, and then, I don't know, I admit that I was maybe a little too drunk, and I just blacked out, and all of a sudden I remember being pulled to the ground and her being on top of me.
I was with her that night, and I witnessed the whole thing, and I had not had a sip of alcohol.
Then, just a second, then come up here and I'm going to hear you. Tell me your name.
I'm Alex DiLorenzo.
Okay.
Okay. A lot of things Jessica was saying about that night are true. When she was walking by, Amber did brush her on her shoulder. There's obviously tension.
What's a brush? Explain to me what a brush is.
Sorry if I'm not using the right words.
No, I want to know what a brush is.
When they were walking by...
Is it a body? Is it a body thing? So
yeah, like a hit on the shoulder, and it's like kind of like a get out of my way. They were both in the room. They don't like each other. They've had problems in the past, so...
Just listen to me. She body Englished her.
I don't think it was intentional. I think
of course it was intentional. I don't care. Listen to me. I don't care what you think.
Okay.
I don't care about what the operation of your mind is. All you tell me is what you saw and what you heard. And what you saw is Miss Snyder pushing her body against the plaintiff. That's what we saw. And then what did you see?
Okay. They got into a verbal confrontation.
Miss Grosheim said, what? Do you remember?
Yes.
No, don't listen to me. Don't make it up.
No, Amber, don't effing push me or something like that.
Fine. I believe that she probably said it because that doesn't sound like it's something unusual for her to say.
Okay. After that, things had settled. Jessica was in a different room. Amber was in a different room. At that point, they got into another confrontation.
How did they? Just a second. They were each in separate rooms. Were they screaming at each other from room to room?
No.
No, look. I ask the questions. You answer the questions. What room was Miss Snyder in?
The living room.
Sure. Don't go any further. The defendant was in the living room. And where was the plaintiff?
The house had two living rooms. One was close to a backyard, which is where Miss Amber was. And then Jessica was in...
Don't clack up with the bracelets, please.
Sorry. And then the living room, there was a pool table closer to the door of the front entranceway. There was two living rooms. Like, you walk in through the house like this, the door.
Don't tell me like this, like this. They were each in a separate room,
living room.
Separate living rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when they got into the confrontation, in what room was the confrontation? Look at me. In what room was the confrontation?
The kitchen.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The boyfriend came in because he heard the screaming back and forth. He grabbed her and said, let's get outside. You followed her outside. Now tell me what happened outside, Miss Troublemaker.
Closed captioning sponsored by Rosheim says her boyfriend's ex, Amber Snyder, owes for vandalism and an assault.
Who went into the kitchen?
I'm not sure who was in there first.
So you don't know, so that they weren't in two separate rooms?
No, this was all verbal fighting. The physical assault hadn't happened yet.
I'm talking about how they ended up in the same room to have a verbal confrontation.
They both had to have walked in there, I guess, at different times. And
you didn't see who walked in from where?
No, I did not see because I was with Amber and I know when we walked in, and I think Jessica was already in there, but like I said, I'm not sure.
So Miss Grosheim was already in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And you walked in with Miss Snyder to the kitchen.
We had no idea.
Just a sec. Don't tell me what was in the operation of her mind. Hers. You walked into where she was in the kitchen. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what happened when you got there?
Amber saw that she was in the room, and they both started arguing.
No. Somebody said something first. And if you don't remember, I would suggest you say, I don't remember.
That's what I was going to tell you. I don't remember who said something first. That's why I said they started verbally arguing.
Okay, but Miss Snyder went into the area where Miss Grosheim was.
Yes.
And where did this altercation continue?
Jessica was dragged outside, and we were all...
Shh. Was dragged outside by whom? Look at me. Was dragged outside by whom?
Kevin and other people, her friends that she wasn't with, and we were being forced
Just a second. So Kevin took his girlfriend and pulled her outside. And right now in the kitchen, all there was going on was a lot of verbal back and forth.
Yes.
So now Miss Grosheim is outside with her boyfriend, correct?
Correct.
And where is the lovely Miss Amber?
With me, and we're being forced out of the house at this point.
Just a second. I want you to tell me being forced is not what happened. I want you to tell me where you went from the kitchen.
We went in the front yard from the kitchen. The owner of the house asked us to leave at this point because of all the verbal confrontations. So we were asked to leave. We walked outside. From there, another verbal altercation started.
Just a minute. Let's look at the objective data, Miss Troublemaker. The plaintiff was in the kitchen. You followed her into the kitchen. The boyfriend came in because he heard the screaming back and forth. He grabbed her and said, let's get outside. They took her outside. And then you and Miss Amber went outside where she was, where the verbal back and forth continued. So she left the area. You followed her outside. Now tell me what happened outside.
They started arguing.
Again, right?
Yes, they started arguing again, but this time Jessica said something to Amber, like Amber's boyfriend at the time was there, and Jessica said, he's a great guy, he's a great guy, something about, why are you doing this? And she started unloading things, saying things to obviously get a rise out of her, things like,
Just
you know,
a second.
why do you care?
That's not getting a rise out of her, you idiot. That's saying, why are you continuing this? You have a nice boyfriend. Why don't you get over this? That's what you said. Just a second. That's what you said, she said.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What is the result of that?
A friend that was there, I believe he was a friend of Jessica's, came in between them.
Listen to me. I don't care what you believe. Somebody got in between them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, don't go over there, right here. And then...
It looked like Jessica pushed her.
What do you mean? What do we mean by that, sweetheart? It looked like Jessica pushed her. Is that the brush, like the brush
No.
with the shoulder?
No.
Explain to me, what do you mean? It looks like Jessica
There's a man, there's a person between them, and Jessica puts her arms up.
And?
And then Amber went in to hit her.
Yeah, and now you can sit down. You got to learn to keep your hands to yourself. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. I'll back to you, right?
It wasn't. It was in the same. That's bullshit. Lied about someone.
She did. I can't lie about everything, though. When I'm telling the story, I have to tell the truth.
Judge Judy continues
I didn't have a bottle
in a
in my
moment.
hand. You did. You had a wine bottle in your hand. Jessica, yes.
And on the next, 23-year-old Allison Abushan is suing her ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Christopher Wilson, for money owed on a truck and for unauthorized bank charges.
Order. All rise. This is case number 132 on the calendar in the matter of Abushan versus Wilson. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Thank you, Bert. Miss Abushan, how long were you and the defendant together as a couple?
About 5.5 months.
Did he move in with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you meet him?
I met him when I was finishing college in Kentucky. He then moved back with me to Minnesota.
Mr. Wilson, when you moved back with Miss Abushan to Minnesota, what were you doing for a living, sir?
I got down there and I started work for DirecTV.
In what month did you move to Minnesota?
It was 2 days before Christmas.
So let's say January. And when did you get the job with DirecTV?
It was about a month after Christmas.
February?
Yes.
How long did you have the job?
Until I come back to Kentucky.
And when was that?
In the middle of March.
Well, then you weren't working very long, sir.
Right.
Who was supporting you?
My parents would send me money, help me out.
I'm talking about her. Was she supporting you?
It'd go either way. I had money too.
Where did you have money from?
My parents, like I say, they would send me money.
How old are you, Mr. Wilson?
I'm 23. I'll be 24.
If I let you.
I hope you'll let me.
All of these things, my questions have a reason, Mr. Wilson.
Okay.
This is your complaint. You foolishly, very foolishly, put a down payment on a truck or
Yes, Your
something
Honor.
for him. And there was an agreement that he was going to pay you back for it because he didn't have any what?
Transportation or money.
Because he didn't have any money.
Right.
Otherwise, he would have put the down payment on his own truck. So evidently his parents, because he acknowledges that you put the down payment on the truck for him, right? I read your papers.
Correct.
And if you had money of your own, then you wouldn't have needed money from her. You're smarter than you look, sir. Now, 2 weeks after you bought him this truck, he goes back to Kentucky to deal with
ma'am.
some legal issues, according to him, having to do with his child.
That ended up being
I'm
false.
speaking.
Excuse me.
And his child said, "Oh, Daddy, don't leave." So he decided to leave and dump you and go back to the mother of his child and his child because he couldn't say no to his baby. And he kept your truck. That's after 2 weeks.
Yes,
and how
ma'am.
much did you lay out?
$3,500.
You know, your looks are deceiving, sir. What?
$3,500, Your Honor.
No. There were also payments due on this truck.
Yes, Your Honor.
He moved back in the middle of March to Kentucky. Did he make the March payment on the truck?
No, ma'am, he did not.
I see, shh, just a second. I see a whole lot of blank space on your table, Mr. Wilson. You say in your answer that you made the truck payments. You left, according to you, the second week in March. Show me the March payment that you made.
I ain't got no evidence or nothing. She come and got the truck without my knowledge. Right in the middle of the day.
Listen to me. Listen to me. You have evidence, sir, because you would have proof that you made the truck payment in March.
Nothing was due. There was no payments due on that truck.
I have a
just
check,
had to,
Your Honor.
I just had purchased. We just had purchased that truck. Like I say, we just had purchased
You mean
that
you
truck.
purchased it, they made you a gift?
No, it's not a gift. It wasn't. There was no payments due on it.
When was the first payment due?
Whenever we bought the truck, like 3 weeks before, and I hadn't had a chance to pay the payment on it because she come and got it.
You didn't have a chance.
Exactly.
Your Honor, I have a check for
I see it,
March.
please?
Yes, ma'am. My mother wrote it out of account that we had shared together, my mother and I, to make the payment. After he was delinquent on that payment, that's when we chose to go down there for the sake of my credit. and
Just
get
a
it.
second.
Yes, Your Honor.
We do this according to the way I run this playpen, okay? Check is dated the 21st of March, so I assume for $271.75. You don't have another check that you made, do you, sir?
No.
In March? No. No. Then you went down because he didn't make the payment. And very wisely, I might add, decided not to be involved with this man anymore because now your credit is on the line because there are payments due on this car.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you and your mom, according to your papers, went down and repossessed the car.
Yes.
And sold it.
Yes.
Sold it at a loss.
Yes.
And what you want is the money that you spent on him for this truck How much did you sell the truck for?
Sold the truck for $10,500. Had $11.86 left on the truck to be paid.
All right, so what's the deficit?
About $1,300.
Okay. That's a cheap lesson. Now, when, Ms. Aubuchon, when you went down to repossess the truck, did you give him any notice that he had the opportunity to make up any of these?
Yes, Your Honor. I asked him if he would please return the truck to me. I even offered to buy him a plane ticket back to Kentucky from Minnesota if he would do that.
And what did he say to you?
He said, I'll do it, and then he would not call me back. I wouldn't be able to get a hold of him for several weeks at a time.
When did you first call him?
I called him...
Mr. Wilson, this smirk is irritating. Go ahead.
I was explaining this to him about a week after he left, once I realized that he would not be returning.
When he left to go to Kentucky?
Yes.
When did he notify you that he would not be coming back?
It was about a week after he left. He told me that he wasn't going to be coming back due to his baby and missing his family. At that point, I said, I'll give you the opportunity to make the truck payment. If you do not, it will be going against my credit as well, and I will have to retrieve the truck.
And when did you have the discussion with him?
That discussion with him was had about a week after he left, originally.
Which was when?
It would have been the very end of February, first week of March. I also have credit card charges, Your Honor, which would indicate when he returned back to Kentucky.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we got something really exciting to talk about. Something that blends legendary sports car heritage with cutting-edge electric innovation. Yep, we're talking about the all-new, fully electric Porsche 718 Cayman EV. This car isn't just a new model, it's a statement. A statement that Porsche is charging full speed into the electric era, without compromising what makes their cars so thrilling to drive. Let's start with the big picture. The 718 Cayman has always been one of the most loved drivers' cars in Porsche's lineup. It sits just below the 911, but in many ways, enthusiasts argue delivers an even purer driving experience thanks to its mid-engine layout and lightweight chassis. Now, imagine taking all of that balance, control, and fun, and combining it with the instantaneous power of an electric drivetrain. That's what the new Cayman EV promises. And from everything we know so far, Porsche is absolutely delivering. Underneath, this isn't just a gas car with batteries shoved in. Porsche has developed an all-new EV platform for the next-gen Cayman. That means it's been built from the ground up with electric performance in mind. The result? A low-slung, incredibly well-balanced sports car that's quicker, smarter, and more efficient than ever before. The expected power output is impressive. Over 450 horsepower thanks to dual electric motors, one at the front and one at the rear, making this an all-wheel drive beast. And because electric motors deliver peak torque instantly, the acceleration is savage. We're talking 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3.5 seconds, maybe even quicker in performance versions. No gear changes, no lag, just pure, continuous acceleration that presses you into your seat like a roller coaster. But this car isn't just about straight-line speed. Handling has always been a Cayman specialty, and Porsche knows that. With the battery pack mounted low on the floor, the center of gravity is lower than ever, which enhances stability and cornering performance. Add in Porsche's adaptive suspension system, precise steering, and next-gen torque vectoring, and you get a car that can dance through corners with astonishing precision. Whether you're on a twisty mountain road or a racetrack, the Cayman EV is designed to feel like an extension of your body, smooth, responsive, and confident. Now let's talk design. One glance, and you know it's a Cayman. Porsche hasn't strayed too far from the classic silhouette, and that's a good thing. The proportions are tight and athletic, with a slightly wider stance and refined aerodynamics. The front is sleek, with ultra-thin LED headlights and redesigned air intakes that look aggressive but elegant. There's no traditional grille, of course, since there's no need for a big radiator. But Porsche has made sure airflow is still efficiently managed for performance and battery cooling. Move to the rear, and things get even more futuristic. A full-width light bar, subtle spoiler integration, and no exhaust pipes give a clean, modern look. The Porsche badge across the back lights up, which adds a really slick touch, especially at night. And those wheels, purpose-built to reduce drag while still looking absolutely stunning. Inside, it's a blend of classic Porsche minimalism and next-gen technology. The cockpit is driver-focused, as always. You sit low, everything wraps around you, and there's a sense of being in something truly special. Porsche has moved to a fully digital instrument cluster, which is customizable and crystal clear. You can switch between navigation, performance data, range info, whatever you need right in front of you. The infotainment system is quick and intuitive, with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, voice control, and real-time vehicle diagnostics. Materials are premium throughout: leather, Alcantara, brushed aluminum, and optional carbon fiber trims. But what's cool is that Porsche is also offering a more sustainable interior package, using recycled materials and eco-friendly fabrics without sacrificing that luxury feel. In terms of comfort and practicality, you've got front and rear trunks, or frunks, because there's no engine taking up space. That gives you surprisingly good cargo capacity for a two-seater sports car. And Porsche's engineers have paid close attention to cabin noise, adding sound-deadening materials and acoustic glass to make the ride quiet when you want it, but still allow just enough road feedback to keep the experience alive. Now, when it comes to range, Porsche is aiming high. The Cayman EV is expected to offer around 300 to 350 miles on a single charge, depending on the trim and how you drive. That puts it right in the sweet spot for daily usability and weekend getaways. Plus, it supports ultra-fast charging with an 800-volt system. That means you can go from 10% to 80% battery in roughly 20 minutes at